Hello everybody, hope you're all doing well, and in this video I'll be covering the Vagabond series as a whole. I'll start with chapter 1 and build it up from that point on till the latest chapter as this series is still ongoing. I feel that after creating so much Berserk content, I think this is the direction that I need to take in order for this channel to get more refined, so to speak. Moreover, it will also clear my head from Berserk and hopefully will give me the right headscape to cover chapter 376, if it ever comes out. I'll try to cover as much as I can in the series, and while I don't necessarily know the many trivia related to it, I'm hoping that I'll be enlightened by the users in the comments section. Hopefully by the end of it all, I'll be able to give you my analysis in a much more refined manner. So without further ado, my introductions are pretty long-winded these days, but here it is. Vagabond Chapter 1. The Battle of Sekigahara. That is the setting in which the first chapter takes place, and we see a man take a breath amidst a battlefield which is littered with several corpses. They are all warriors who fought for some side in feudal Japan, and there are spears, arrows, and swords scattered all around. So the man takes a gulp and the narrator begins. The Battle of Sekigahara has ended. The same man who took a gulp opens his eyes, and from the corner of them see a couple of soldiers approaching towards him from the distance. I don't know if this is the original translation, but the first few pages of each volume in this series are colored, and I particularly like the color scheme of the panels, contrasting blue and red. Moreover, the art is amazing as well, which is a given because the artist of this series is Slam Dunk's own Takehiko Inoue. The soldiers are coming in and we see the chapter title Shinmen Takezo come up. In the next panel, we see that the rain has now subsided and the same man has woken up to the bitter reality of his situation. The soldiers that came up to him riding on horses have now moved away from him, thinking that he's dead. I feel that this man is crying, but I'm not too sure of it, but that wouldn't be as far off as an analysis, because the expressions on his face certainly say that he is pissed off about something. We later find out that he's been on the losing side, so it makes sense why he would be pissed. In the next scene, we see an image of a man who's lying on his belly and saying, "Forgive me, mother. I left Sakushu to make a name for myself, but it all came to nothing. Forgive me, Otsu." Now we don't know who these characters are yet. I read this one back in 2017 or something, and while I do remember the characters, I don't know the full breadth and minute details of the manga. It's been a very long time. In front of the man lying down face first into the dirt, a spear comes in and impales the ground. Thinking that the spear belongs to a refugee hunter, the man is confused and thinks that his death is now close. Just then we see the man who threw the spear say, "A survivor." Then he says the words, "Matahachi." Right now our two main characters and polar opposites are introduced, and the man says, "Matahachi, I survived as well." Matahachi then turns around on the ground and looks up to the man and says Takezo, which finally introduces our vagabond to us. Then the both of them walk while limping through the battlefield. Both are tired as both have participated in the Battle of Sekigahara and were on the losing side. As the two sit down, we see an existential question pop up. Matahachi asks Takezo, "Is this all we amount to? We left Sakushu to make a name for ourselves, perhaps take a general, but the only thing we cut down was grass to make the roads. We were handed machetes instead of spears, and were on the losing side." Now, the thing with this is that it is very reminiscent of the people who go off to fight wars but end up either as desk jockeys or are limited to menial tasks in administration. They joined up for action and adventure but instead ended up doing things that didn't have any honor to them. It is a very depressing state to be in. I won't lie, I'm 28 years old right now and wanted to join up in the military, but because of this reason I have always feared to put my foot forwards. Another reason why I didn't join up was because of my IRL situation. Instead of being demoted to desk jockeys, which is a pretty chill job, Matahachi and Takezo were reduced to being laborers. Instead of fighting and doing banzai charges, they were reduced to digging up trenches and clearing away grass to make roads. It was far detached from being an honorable endeavor. And then Matahachi says that "I don't think I'm going to last much longer. If I die, I want you to take care of Otsu." Now, Otsu is a very important character in Vagabond which will eventually be introduced to in the coming chapters, but for now, it is just a name. Just then, behind Matahachi is a man who strikes him down with the fury of a sword. They are refugee hunters, and this time it is explicitly stated that they are so. Matahachi backs away, and just as the hunter is about to take the shot, Takezo comes up and confronts the hunter. A fight ensues where Matahachi has backed away and Takezo is fighting the hunter and eventually managed to beat him down. Now, this scene is special because it shows off Takezo as a wild beast, which is a recurring theme, especially during the Hozoin and Inchun arc. It showcases him as a monster who's willing to go to any lengths to win a fight. This character arc of him matters a lot here. Now, Takezo defeats the man and scares his accomplice with his eyes. Eventually, Takezo wins and we see him limping away with Matahachi. Takezo curses the samurai and then both of them declare that they both will not die. The next panel we see a shadow of a woman who has noticed the two limping men. Matahachi, after stating that he will not die, falls down from fatigue, and Takezo falls a few steps ahead of him while looking for a village where they can rest, but instead see corpses just lying around. Eventually, the woman in the shadow approaches Takezo and stands above him. Takezo thinks that it's another bandit, but the reader knows that it is a woman who has approached him. This concludes chapter 1. Now, the only thing I want to unpack here before I end this video is the fact that when Matahachi and Takezo say that they won't die, they're actually right, but the way that they live their lives are very different. Matahachi dies while living and Takezo lives while brushing away death. It is something that is a recurring theme in Vagabond, and something that we will discuss further in the coming videos. It is also the main philosophy of life that is discussed in Vagabond. Overall, I feel that the last time that I read this, I was very young and inexperienced and didn't know much about life in general. Moreover, with the edits, the excitement of the series is not emphasized as much as it's supposed to. Don't get me wrong, they're great, but has the action part missing in them. Most of the edits are just, you have no enemies kind of edits, which are good, but they don't capture the series as much as they're supposed to. So anyways, thanks for watching and stay tuned for part 2.